Dear Hong Kong Free Press readers, we are in Causeway Bay, Hong Kong, and today it is the 36th anniversary of the 1989 Tiananmen crackdown in Beijing. And we are here today because Hong Kong used to be one of the few places, or one of the only places in China where public commemoration of the crackdown can happen. But in recent years, authorities have banned the commemoration. And as we see today in Causeway Bay, which is near the site, Victoria Park, where the commemoration usually took place before, a heavy police presence is here. Just earlier, we saw a woman holding a tiny white flower in action, apparently remembering the crackdown 36 years ago. She was immediately surrounded by police officers who searched her belongings and stopped her from showing the flower and then escorting her to the MTR station. The woman is believed that she has not been arrested, and we can see police patrolling Causeway Bay. Here we are in Great George Street, just outside the metro station. They are patrolling in groups, and then they've been. We saw earlier as well that there are individuals who um, showed up banners or slogans in acts that apparently, again, to remember the crackdown 36 years ago, that they were stopped and searched by police officers. Some of them, we believe, were taken away into police van, and it is unclear whether they have been arrested or not. Um, for readers who joined us, we are in Causeway Bay, Hong Kong, and today, Wednesday, June 4th, is the 36th anniversary of the 1989 Tiananmen crackdown in Beijing. For some context, Beijing on that day in 1989 sent troops and tanks into Tiananmen Square in Beijing to disperse peaceful protesters trying to strive for democracy in China, and that led to bloodshed and a crackdown, which some people, by some estimates, hundreds or even thousands died in that crackdown. So Hong Kong used to be one of the only places in China where public commemoration of the crackdown can happen. But in 2020, authorities banned candlelight vigil in Hong Kong's Victoria Park for the first time. At that time, they cited COVID-19 public health concerns to ban the public gathering. And in the year after, authorities banned the vigil again, that time. And then afterward, there have been no public commemoration. The organizer of the candlelight vigil, the Alliance for Patriotic Supporting China's Movement, has been disbanded, and its leaders have been arrested on national security charges, and they are now awaiting trial. They are now being detained in jail. And we are now in Causeway Bay. We're seeing, again, police officers patrolling in group. And we are now heading to Victoria Park, where the annual candlelight vigil used to take place before it was banned by authorities in 2020. Earlier, we saw a woman holding a tiny white flower in an action, apparently trying to remember the event, remember the crackdown 36 years ago. She was immediately surrounded by police officers who stopped her from showing the flower, who searched her belongings, but eventually they did not. Apparently, they did not arrest her, but escort her to the metro station to leave the scene. And we are now heading to Victoria Park. We are now heading to Victoria Park, where a patriotic food carnival, jointly organized by pro-Beijing groups, are taking place for the third straight years. That carnival is taking place in place of annual candlelight vigil that used to take place for 3 decades after the crackdown in 1989 in Hong Kong, which also shows that Hong Kong is one of the largest in the world to remember the crackdown, to remember the Tiananmen crackdown, and to show solidarity and support to family members of people who died 36 years ago in Beijing. And we're very near Victoria Park, where a heavy police presence can be seen. Today is a rainy day, and earlier heavy rain um, make the crowd less crowded in the area. But again, we are seeing police officers patrolling the area, and they are patrolling in groups. They also stationed in several key roads surrounding the park. And then when earlier we saw that people try to hold up electronic candles or white flowers in action that appear to remember the 1989 crackdown, they were immediately stopped by police officers. They were immediately searched and asked to leave the scene by police officers. To Hong Kong Free Press reader who just joined us, we are in Causeway Bay and we are heading to Victoria Park in Hong Kong, where annual candlelight vigil commemorating the 1989 Tiananmen crackdown in Beijing used to take place for 3 decades before they were banned by the authorities in 2020 and ever since. And now we are entering Victoria Park, where a patriotic food carnival is taking place for the third straight year. And that carnival is organized by pro-Beijing groups, and it is taking place in place of the candlelight vigil. Organizers of the candlelight vigils have disbanded. Leaders of the organizers, the alliance, have been arrested and charged with national security allegations, and they are now being detained, and they are awaiting jail, which is expected to begin this year. But right now we are at Victoria Park, and as we can see here, is the entrance to the food carnival, and it is taking place for the third year. The carnival is organized by pro-Beijing groups. It is taking place in place of annual candlelight vigils that used to take place here in Victoria Park after the crackdown in 1989 until 2020, when it was banned by authorities on COVID-19 public health concern. Earlier in the day, we saw people trying to sit on benches in Victoria Park, holding an electronic candle in an action apparently to remember the Tiananmen crackdown 36 years ago. They were immediately stopped by police officers. They were searched, but we believe they were not arrested. They were asked to leave the scene. And there were individual people trying to do actions in remembrance of the crackdown near Victoria Park, where the annual candlelight vigil used to take place. And right now we are seeing the patriotic food carnival, which is taking place for the third year. And we also see the park is guarded by police in groups patrolling the park. And right here we are looking at football courts of the Victoria Park, where before 2020, tens of thousands of Hong Kong residents or other people will gather in an annual candlelight vigil to remember the 1989 Tiananmen crackdown. But after that year, it was banned by the government on COVID-19 public health concerns. And since 2022, a patriotic food carnival organized by pro-Beijing groups had taken place here in Victoria Park. And we're hearing music coming out of the carnival. Earlier today, heavy rain poured onto Hong Kong, but um, it didn't stop people from entering or enjoying the carnival. To Hong Kong Free Press readers, we are in Hong Kong. We are in Causeway Bay Victoria Park, where annual candlelight vigils used to take place here to remember the 1989 Tiananmen crackdown. But right now, we are seeing a patriotic food carnival that is taking place here in Victoria Park in place of the annual light vigil, because the vigil were banned in 2020 by authorities on COVID-19 public health concern. And afterward, organizers of the vigil have disbanded. They were charged with national security charge, and then they will face a trial, which is expected to begin this year. And right now, on today, on June 4th, the 36th anniversary of the crackdown, we're seeing a patriotic food carnival taking place in Victoria Park. And we're also seeing the carnival is guarded, or the Victoria Park is guarded by police officers, groups who have stopped it earlier, people who are trying to do actions like holding up a tiny white flower or electronic candle that apparently try to mourn or try to remember the 1989 crackdown openly. And they were stopped, they were searched, and they were asked to leave the scene, but we believe they were not arrested. We will continue to follow the development on the ground, and please follow Hong Kong Free Press for the updates on this year's June 4th, the 36th anniversary of the 1989 Tiananmen crackdown.